You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Let's get spooky. This is our station, Boo, where we explore the dark and mysterious corners of the world of horror, and we know that you are dying to listen.
Welcome to the Spooky and Kooky podcast of Earth Station Boo, where we talk all things horror. Introducing our haunted host with the most. We have our lovely Lisa.
Hi, groovy ghoulies.
We got our kick-ass Karen.
What up, my horror holly?
And I am your spooky Shannon, and we are going to be talking about the kooky and zany and utterly creepy Mr. David Lynch. May he rest in peace. But first, let's go to the ghastly report and let's get spooky.
Hey, horrorholics. It's time for the ghastly report. Stay tuned for all the fun, spine-tingling news happening in horror today, from new releases to spooky events and so much more.
Alrighty, it is time for the ghastly report. Mwahaha. Where we tell you all the cool, fun, and spooky things that are happening in the realm of horror. So today we got a wide range of fun things happening out there right now. I'm actually kind of excited about all three things that we're going to be talking to y'all about. Lisa, what do you have on deck?
There is now an official Hellraiser revival video game, and it's going to be on all the platforms. And Doug Bradley, the original voice of Hellraiser Pinhead, is coming back. Speak as Pinhead. He's only doing it because Clive Barker is actually writing all the mythology in it. So I'm so excited. I only hope that it's not first person so I can actually play the game. But I saw the preview and it looks gorgeous. So I'm looking forward for that.
It does look gorgeous. Karen, what do you got on deck?
So, if anybody's seen Sinners and loves it, there's now going to be like a 35 minute featurette of Brian Coogler talking about the making of Sinners called Dancing with the Devil. And it accompanies film on digital and physical media. He talks about, spending time in Byram, Georgia after wrapping up his efforts with Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. And he said he saw a cotton plantation, but he never seen, cotton before in person. And so he started thinking about his uncle and whatnot, who was a sharecropper in Mississippi, and then how everything kind of, clicked in place for him, especially when he heard some music called Wang Dang Doodle. And it reminded him of listening to the blues with his uncle. And it all kind of came together. So I suggest all y'all who love the movie as much as I do, check out the featurette. Don't skip it.
Yeah, I mean, that movie is absolutely stunning to watch. The music is fantastic. Special effects were on point. Like, we have to review the movie. I'm just going to say that. But I would love to actually watch that featurette because everything I've already heard him say about it is amazing and absolutely fantastic. So the last fun bit of news that we have is that the Scream franchise is going to have an audiobook series, and none other than the original Ghostface voice actor, Roger Jackson, is going to be the one who narrates it. So you will have Ghostface himself reading you those spooky tales. So I think that's actually pretty cool. Kind of excited to actually go and listen to all of that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I know my roommate, when she hears this, she's going to be like, I got to buy the books because she's such a Scream fanatic.
Yeah. Alrighty. And we are roughly a month away from Dragon Con. So stay tuned. We will be having a Dragon Con episode around 2 weeks before the con. So you're going to get to hear all the cool, fun things that are happening with horror, with urban fantasy. All of our fun guests who have been on the show who are going to be attending the con are going to get to tell you all the cool things they got going on. And where you'll be able to find Karen and myself.
Yep.
So we're really excited. And let's get into the show.
Hey Horrorholics, it's Shannon. Earth Station Boo has just launched its brand new merch store. It's time to get your hands on some killer gear. From our fun logo shirts, cozy hoodies, Let's Get Spooky stickers, and Horrorholics Anonymous totes, there's something for every one of our lovely little ghouls. We offer our spooky designs on many different types of products to fit your desires. But if you happen to see a missed opportunity, just let us know. And unlike most of Stephen King's adaptations, you know what I'm talking about, you won't be disappointed with the quality of the products. Head over to our link tree in our bio, grab your merch, show off your favorite horror podcast, and most of all, let's get spooky.
Hey, Insane Ian, it's Lukeski. Since you're the announcer, I need you to record a promo saying that my Animation and Stuff podcast has joined the ESO network. Say something about how I'm an animation industry storyboarder, writer, and voice actor, and that in each episode, I'll be discussing animated shows, movies, and other pop culture stuff with a different guest co-host each episode, like our fellow comedy musicians Devo Spice, Tony Goldmark, Carrie Dalby, and you. And each show ends with awesome comedy music tracks. And keep it under 30 seconds, or Kevin Eldridge will give you a Chicken Town beatdown. I need it in the next 27 minutes. Okay, thanks, bye.
Luke Ski's Animation and Stuff podcast.
All right. So, David Lynch, he is definitely kooky, or I should say he was. Mr. David Lynch did pass away earlier this year. May he rest in peace. Our condolences to his family and friends and those who knew him quite well. But this kooky, zany guy definitely impacted horror, and in the craziest of ways. So we're going to definitely honor him tonight with this recording. But let's go ahead and dive in with our initial thoughts. Lisa, you get to start us off.
Okay, David Lynch. Oh my gosh. I was first introduced to him in a film festival back in the 80s when they were playing Eraserhead. And I didn't know what to think, but I loved it. It was just like, wow. There's just something about him that was artistically creepy and cerebral all at the same time. He was just an artist and did what he did. And some of my art is influenced by him, and just his whole mannerism and just the way he did things, it just totally was inspiring to me. Still is, even though he's not with us. 100%. I mean, I don't know what I probably wouldn't be into as many films as I was if it wasn't for him.
Yeah. Karen, how about you?
You know, I'm not that big of a fan of David Lynch. I love his works, but it takes a special type of mindset to watch some of his films, because you're kind of like, it just went on over my head. And then when you watch it again, you're like, oh, okay. My first introduction to David Lynch was Twin Peaks.
Okay.
I remember my brother watching it with me, and I was like, this is actually pretty good. So yeah, his creativity and his eye for, writing and directing is something, to attest to when because he has like a large bodies of work when it comes to movies and books. One of my friends bought a book because he wrote a blurb. That was the last thing he wrote for the book, and it's called Severed. It's about the Black Dahlia murder.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was like the last thing he wrote, I believe, was that blurb.
Yeah, he was an artist. Some people call him a director. Some people call him just a filmmaker, but he was more than all of that. He was an artist. This man not only truly understood what it meant to be an artist, he also understood what it meant to speak through your art. And every time I watch his stuff, I feel like I see something new in it. And like, I watch Eraserhead at least twice a year, if not more. It's in my top movies. I know when we did our 31 Days of Halloween, I put that one up as a movie that I watched during my Halloween horror watch-a-thons. And I think because of his genius when it comes to storytelling and having so many different layers to it and being able to showcase it in such an abstract way, it makes it harder to consume. But once it's consumed, it's fully embraced. Eraserhead was my first introduction to him. And then it was quickly followed by Twin Peaks, which are probably two of his like most popular things. But yeah, he was a fantastic artist, and the world is going to have a little less sunshine in it because of him not being in it anymore. But he inspired a lot of people. So let's see what they can do and see how they can shine. How do you guys think his unique blend of that surrealism and raw horror has influenced the genre? And he pushed a lot of boundaries when it comes to how he expressed stuff. Do you guys think it ever strayed too far from traditional horror, or is that what you think makes his work kind of stand out and it's like his signature style?
I mean, for me, David Lynch is a surrealist because all his works seem very dreamlike. But yeah, all his works seem very dreamlike, depending on what he's doing. I mean, you have Twin Peaks, Eraserhead, Lost Highway, and other horrors that he's done that, it does, for me, it does stray away from traditional horror because of that dreamlike effect that he does. And then you look at his other works that are non-horror, like I forgot he did Dune.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Which is one of his least favorite pieces of work. And that's simply because he didn't maintain creative control in the editing.
Yeah, and then, would it be like, different if he had control of editing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, he's even said, he's like, it's a completely different movie. It's not the movie I was filming.
Yeah. And then you have like, another movie that he did that I forgot about, The Elephant Man. So,
yes.
so there's a dichotomy to David Lynch, and I love his view on horror, but a lot of people, have to go in with the mindset of this is not a horror director that you know of. This is someone entirely different, and he's a different horror director. And you could tell his horror from other directors. You could spot his horror really quick.
Yeah.
Usually, like the first 10 minutes, you're like, oh, that's David Lynch.
Yeah. Honestly, you can tell it's a David Lynch project within the first 10 minutes of any of his stuff, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even have to be horror. Like in the first 10 minutes of The Elephant Man, like you could tell. First 10 minutes of Dune, you could tell that it was David Lynch.
And, because of who he is, I believe that his work, it kind of surpasses a lot of the other horror directors, because it actually does make you sit there and think and face a reality that you're refusing to face. I mean, think of Twin Peaks. I mean, you're kind of like,
oh
yeah. You don't want to face that reality, but he's forcing you to face that reality that is in front of you, but you don't want to see what's in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's because of his surrealist eye, really.
Yeah. Lisa, how about you?
I think has contributed a little bit to the horror industry as far as the isolationism that he does a lot in his film. I think there's more of that in horror now. It is, I agree with Karen, it is like you're in a dreamlike state and you have to face what you are facing. I mean, he's a surrealist for sure, but he also puts you in positions that make you uncomfortable, which is horrifying in itself. I mean, all of his work is great, but when it comes to when he's doing horror, it's like, for example, in Twin Peaks, the Bob part. Okay, I will never forget that part because I was asleep and I woke up right at that part. And it still terrifies me to this day, even though I know it's just... So the way he does and I think it's starting to slowly creep into some horror, a little bit, but not the way he does it. He's got such a unique touch. So there's only a few things that he's influenced, and but you can definitely tell it's his work within 10 minutes for sure, if not before.
I think his horror is more on a psychological level than necessarily gore or anything else, even though he does have a lot of gore elements, like especially in Eraserhead. They're like the bleeding chicken and just the baby in general.
Yeah.
Like there's some like pretty like gross stuff, like stuff that you're just like, ooh. But at the same time, you know, he made that movie as being a younger man who just had a baby and it has a small family, and his worry of whether or not he's going to be a good dad and do the right things for his family. And that's what that movie is about. And so you sit there and you're like, but that seems so wholesome. That sounds like a Hallmark movie or something like that. And you're like, yeah, no, it's not.
It's not.
No. But it was done through his eyes and his basically his filter. And I think because he pushes the envelope and because he does, like you guys said, the isolation thing it's a thing. He does this like fractured storytelling that separates that main character from everything, and you feel like you're with them, but you're alone with them, and you're isolated, and you're watching, and there's nothing you can do except to feel the feelings that you're supposed to be feeling in those moments. And I think he does a really great job at that. But I do think because he is an artist, his love of like the practical effects, his love for cinema, the way that cinema is done, and using film instead of like the digital stuff, and a number of the other things, I think it has influenced other directors and other creatives in the horror genre to be mindful of how they make their films and what they use to make their films. We've talked about Nosferatu, and Eggers is a huge Lynch fan. Elephant Man is one of his favorite films. And so to know that, and if we think about Elephant Man and we think about how Eggers does film, we can see the connection. You can see how it's like, okay, we can see the influence. I mean, there's the whole, or Lynchling, I don't know, there's a term with his last name that sometimes, depending on who says it, it does not sound quite appropriate. They call it this because it does reminisce how Lynch makes his movies. And so for there to even be a term for it, I think means that the impact is bigger than what it may appear. And even though he is very much not everybody knows his name, director or creator, people who really love film, they know and they understand. So I've brought up Eraserhead a few different times, and it's often cited as the cornerstone of experimental horror. It's also what Lynch considers his most spiritual film. What do you guys think makes this film so unsettling to the core? And why do you think it continues to resonate with horror fans today and the experimental horror subgenre as a whole?
I think it's because he shows you the realities of real life, dirtiness, poor, struggling, and you're in situations that you might not have wanted to be in a situation with.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just go off on, like, you get around people that you thought were normal, and then they turn out that they're not as normal as you thought when things change. And it's just the innermost feelings of insecurities and hopelessness and overwhelmed. And I think because it's so grungy looking and dirty looking and overwhelming, I think that's why it is such a staple, because you can't look away from it.
Yeah.
No matter how hard you try. Even the nasty dancing scene with the girl, which was funny because my roommate saw it and he's like, what the hell am I watching? But he couldn't stop looking. He couldn't stop looking. That was so great. That was so great. He kept watching. And I think because it is the way he filmed it and how he filmed it, and you feel so immersed in it and so isolated with the character that you're helpless, but you can't stop watching. And that's why it's such a mainstay in the experimental horror genre, because you can't stop watching it. It literally, you can't stop.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a way to use black and white and a way to use color. A black and white makes you feel like this movie in black and white made me feel uncomfortable. Because if you did it in color, it just make you feel gross because of, what goes on in the movie. But because of the whole, experimental side of it, it makes you uncomfortable because you realize that as human beings, we are vulnerable, we are helpless, and we are alone, even though we have people beside us. Like Henry, I think his name is Harry,
Yeah.
the main character.
Henry.
He has a girlfriend and he's uncomfortable talking about sex with her mother. And I understand that because a lot of people are uncomfortable talking about sex with, an older person who's the parent of your significant other who wants to talk about that. And apparently she's pregnant. What? And so now you have to step up to be the person. And now you have this thing that looks like a parasite because everybody thinks children are parasites.
I mean, they technically are.
They technically are until, until the day the parent dies, because, they're always will forever be connected until, something happens. And, you can feel her helplessness because she wants to sleep. She wants a night's sleep. She wants a good night's sleep. And she's like, you have to do it. You're the man. I don't care, and, you see him try to, be a good father to this thing. And then you see his, descent into sort of kind of madness because he doesn't, measure up to being a good father. He doesn't think he's a good father. And then you see this whole dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know that there was supposed to be a naked rat in this film? And
You mean like one of those hairless rats?
No, they were going to nair a rat, but it never got done. But I saw an interview with him. He's like, yeah, we were going to do this like nared rat thing. And then like, we just didn't. I'm like, sir, I need to know the whys. Why did you feel like you needed that in the movie that it's already crazy enough?
You mean they couldn't get like a hairless rat?
I think it was wanting a rat that looked like that wasn't a hairless creature, because even if you were to like completely like make a rat bald, it and a hairless rat don't look the same. So I think that was the point, was that he knew that they wouldn't look the same, and he didn't want the naked rat. He wanted the hairless rat. Yeah.
I mean, hairless rats didn't really come around until like, come in popularity into 2004, but okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But given that it is David Lynch, I'm pretty sure he had connections to people who would have had naked rats prior to 2004. I feel like he was the guy that if you were ever in a situation where you're like, it'd be really cool is if I could get my hands on literally whatever, he would say, I know a guy. I just really feel like he would be that guy who would be like, yeah, I know somebody. Or it would be give me a minute. Let me make a call. Anything else for you, Karen?
The dancing. You just can't stop watching. It's like a train wreck.
I mean, the Radiator Girl as a whole, that was a whole thing.
Yeah, she was kind of creepy.
She was.
Yeah.
You know what? She wasn't she was creepy. I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, wait a minute. Is he having desires for somebody? And then she's stepping on stuff. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you stepping on stuff? Is this some sort of fetish going on? It's like a crunching fetish. What's going on? I couldn't look away.
So you think he was saying, "Step on me, mommy"?
That's what it seemed like. That's what it seemed like. I mean, did you not see her shoes? Those were some good shoes, though. I mean,
Those were some good shoes.
Yeah, those were good shoes.
I mean, especially from coming from a radiator,
right?
I'm
like, those are good shoes. But why is she stepping on? Okay, you know what? This must be a kinky thing. I'm gonna go with that.
Hey, we don't kink shame, but we do kink question.
Yeah.
I was kink questioning the whole movie.
And to think that movie is based off of his time in Philadelphia.
Wow.
Yeah. That's why it kind of has the industrial feel that like some of his other movies don't. It's because it had a lot of meaning for like his time in Philly, his first wife and his daughter, and all that fun stuff.
Oh, just a quick note.
Yes.
An article came out about David Lynch today or yesterday.
Oh.
The title of the article is David Lynch named the best guitarist of all time.
He was a great guitar player. I wouldn't say the greatest, but he was good.
It's from Fallout magazine, but I will post that link in our thingy.
Please do. I think Eraserhead, like, still resonating with people is because David knew how to make you feel while watching the film. From the music to the way the scenes were shot to even just like how uncomfortable he made Henry, where you felt so bad for him. So many different parts of this film where you're just like, oh, bless your heart. I just want to tuck you under my wing and just pat you on the head, give you a stiff drink and shoo you to bed. Like you poor thing. But at the same time, yes, it evoked a lot of emotion, but at the same time, it also, it made you think, and it made you question things and kind of reflect on your own life. And therefore that becomes timeless, because it doesn't matter if this was done back in, if you watch this movie back when you were in the 50s, or if you watch this in 100 years from now, you're still going to have those social implications of, what do I do when I'm meeting, my girlfriend's family for the first time? What do I do being a parent for the first time? And like the baby's crying. I don't know what to do with that. Oh, it's because it's sick. So like you have all these things that are so normal that would always be there. But then you have this experimental side of it being told with completely crazy things. Like meeting your girlfriend's parents, normal. The chicken bleeding from between its legs, not normal.
It wasn't really a chicken. It was like a Cornish hen. And those things are small.
Yeah.
I was mad. I was like, you gonna feed me a Cornish hen? Man.
Yeah. But you see what I mean? Like, it's just one of those deals of like, normal. That is not normal.
His girlfriend was normal.
Just the baby. You're like, oh, it's a single dad with a baby. And you're like, okay, yeah. No, the baby looks like a thing that came out of the guy's chest, an alien.
Hey, don't you disparage the chest hugger like that, the chest burster. I actually like the chest burster. Okay,
but does that baby not look like the chest burster?
No. The chest burster looks prettier and cuter. I would love to have that chest burster as a child.
Well, his baby is sick. Henry's baby is sick.
That thing should have been at the hospital. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't even think the doctors could have saved that.
It looks like something that would have been thrown out.
The chest burster, I would have thrown that baby out. I'd be like, oh, look at you, you're so cute.
And then it eats your face.
It's for a cause.
See, that is what the baby looked like.
The baby looked like a chicken, a bald chicken.
A bald
No
chicken
beak.
would be cuter.
You take the beak off the chicken and hair off the fur off the chicken. It looked like a chicken.
I thought it looked more like a lamb,
You know?
like a shaved lamb.
No. A shaved lamb is way fucking cuter. My grandpa was a shepherd. That's how I know. I played with the lambs.
But did you eat the lambs?
Mm-hmm. They were tasty.
Yeah, they were very tasty.
Did their crying make you uncomfortable, Clarice?
No, I slept through it. No, my parents actually did a really good job with my brother and I, and helping us understand that those were not pets.
Those were food.
Those were food. So even though, yes, you got to play with them, you're going to eat them. So you're going to have to get over it. And so, I don't know. We were good. It was kosher. Actually, legitimately kosher, now that I think about it. Because I think his butcher was Jewish. Okay. There we go. But no, Eraserhead, I think it is definitely a cornerstone for experimental horror. It pushed the envelope in so many different ways. I mean, just even being black and white was a massive push, because you had so many studios who are like, we are not doing black and white films. We're not going to do it. I mean, Mel Brooks even had that struggle with Young Frankenstein, and actually with Elephant Man, until he said, hey, no, I'm getting David Lynch to do it. Go see what he did with Eraserhead and see how he used black and white to tell this story. But he pushed the envelope, and he defied a lot of norms. I think it helped make it an unsettling film. I think it helped with just the storytelling in general. And I think overall, it's a perfect example, still even to this day, of what experimental horror should accomplish on feeling. Like, it's not necessarily technique, not necessarily like, here's the equation. You need to do X, Y, Z in order to make a good experimental horror film. But it's how do you feel when you get done watching it? That's what you should feel after you watch an experimental horror film. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I have to say, like, if they would have used color, the meaning would be totally different.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, the whole movie would have had a completely different vibe. Like the radiator girl. Like, would she have been like all like warm tones and things like that because she was in a radiator? Or would she have like more angelic kind of coloring? Like, there's just so much. And like, do we really want to see that baby in color?
Not really. No. Not really.
No, not at all.
No. Dear God.
I don't want to know what color that puke was.
Yeah, me neither.
In my imagination, it was a funky yellow. I want to keep it that way. I don't want to know that it was something like some weird lavender color, or I don't know.
And when he unwrapped it, oh no, thank you.
Ugh.
What?
Best birth control ever. The look in Karen's face.
You got me to snort. That was great.
How do you feel on that, Karen?
I would have to say my babies will look cute as hell.
I probably would make cute babies, but I'm good.
I mean, my baby would not look like that little thing.
No.
I'm like, wow, Harry, whatever your name is, your girlfriend made this ugly little thing. How? Yeah. She's kind of cute. You sure it's your baby?
But I mean, there is that question.
Mm-hmm.
That is a question that's in there. But I mean, it's a question that David had. Like, is it my kid? It should be my kid. Hey. It would be my kid, right? Do I want it to be my kid? Like he had all the questions, and you saw all the questions in the film. Lynch, his horror films often deal with the theme of duality. So good versus evil, light and dark. We see that throughout his stuff. How do you guys, or how does like that theme work in his storytelling in combination with a lot of the different techniques that he did with like the isolation portions as well as like the fractioning off the story and whatnot?
It's like a multi-layered story that you have to pick apart and put it back together again.
Yeah.
Because unlike other movies, you could like, pick here, pick there. This one you actually have to pick apart and then put it back together again to make it make sense. It's kind of like watching those movies that does it out of chronological order that you have to set it right.
Yeah.
But his is done in chronological order. But because there's so many layers in that story, you have to force yourself to like pick it. Either you're going to pick it apart or you're not. You're just going to enjoy it for the movie and just let it go over your head, or you're going to pick it apart and let it have some sort of meaning, or get to the meat and bones of it. And the way he does it, it's very, in a way, it's very flawless, and it's also very flawed.
Yeah,
because it's flawless because it's like, oh, seamless, one story, yay. But it's also very flawed because you know that there's fractured stories going on. In one scene, there's like multiple stories going on. You're like, what the hell? Why?
Yeah.
And it does get confusing for some people, but he does it so well that you, as a fan, you know how to decipher it. As a non-fan, it's going to take you a minute.
Yeah.
Or two. Or maybe a year. I don't know.
Or forever.
Or forever. But probably a year, Probably a year.
Yeah. Yeah. Lisa?
Yeah, I think because of his use of the surrealism and the isolation dreamlike states, that it does work with all his elements. And yes, there's little bits of stories within stories within stories. And I agree with Karen, you have to be able to kind of take it apart. I mean, yeah, you can enjoy the movie and you might not get it and you'll just see the surface story. And sometimes he does that for just the people who don't really want to dive in. But then if you're like a fan like myself and other people, you really want to take apart, and it mentally tires you sometimes. That's horrifying. And I mean, I think it was Mulholland Drive that I saw that. I mean, I literally watched it twice, or it was either Mulholland Drive or Lost Highway. It was one of those. But I figured it out, like, and my friend Dom, he's like, how'd you figure that out? Because I just went in there and watched it. And so I think because he makes you use your mind so much with his dreamlike isolation and surrealism, it's very cerebral type of horror. And that's why it works so well. Because someone you think might be doing the right thing is actually not really doing the right thing. And you're like, wait, what a minute? Wait, what?
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about it.
It's like the whole Sith and Jedi order.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I mean, he's extremely multifaceted. Like I said earlier, like I could watch Eraserhead like a million more times and still find something new every time I watch it. And what I think is also nice is that not only does he do the duality, and he does it really well and he does it really consistently, he also makes each side understandable. So even like the evil side, you can understand the thought process. You may not agree with it. That's fine. But you can sit there and say, okay, I can see how it's connecting the dots. I can see the thought process and like the train of thought in this. And it makes sense. Even though it may not be the right thing to do, you can still see how you get to that eventual point. Even like with like Twin Peaks, with it being this TV series versus like an actual like movie, you still have like all of these characters where you understand their point of view and you connect to them through it. And so it's like, yeah, it even shows like the duality of each individual person, where like you can see they even fight within themselves. but it works because he shows from so many different points of view. And so it makes it easy to kind of like, I don't know. I think I find it to be easy to understand it, but I'm also sitting here going, I know that I'm neurodivergent. I know I have a spicy brain. I know that I'm the person who can watch a movie and in the first 10 minutes I can say, oh, that's the killer. That's that's the person who's going to die. This is how it's going to happen. Mind you, it doesn't ruin the movies for me, but I can see it. I know how it's going to end. But with his stuff, I don't necessarily. With his stuff, I actually can sit there and just be like, oh, what if they show me next? I need to know. I'm curious. He keeps you on your toes, and I like that. I like how there is still some like predictability because we're humans and we are predictable. However, he keeps you on your toes, and I enjoy that. Speaking of Twin Peaks, though, the line between supernatural horror, psychological terror, is often kind of blurred and hidden horrors within the everyday. How do you guys think he uses the town of Twin Peaks to really explore the darker and lighter sides of just humanity?
I mean, he uses Twin Peaks as a character in itself.
Yeah. Oh,
There you go.
absolutely.
It's a character. I mean, that's how he
Yeah.
uses it. It's not just a place, it's a character
Yeah.
that you want to explore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have these humans there that, do bad things or good things to each other. And the town itself, Twin Peaks, the nature around it witnesses it. And that's like the true narrator. It tells you, it's not going to lie to you because it doesn't have a mind of its own. It's a character, but it doesn't really have, opinionated, it doesn't have opinions. It just gives you straightforward facts. Like, this is what's going on. I can't lie to you because I'm
Mm-hmm.
here. I'm here for you. I'm just going to give you the facts. So he uses the town as a character that you could probably most likely rely on to give
Mm-hmm.
you the facts to the story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Karen. Twin Peaks is a character within itself. And you have all these different people in there, and they're so diverse in whether they're good or they're evil or whatever. And the supernatural elements of the owls are not what they seem, and the log lady and the lodges and everything kind. Then when the agent has his dreams in the red room, which the little guy who creeps me out. And yeah, I actually saw him he was the guest at Dragon Con once when I used to go. And he was coming up the escalator. I was going down and I looked at him and like, oh, I mean, it was just, even though he was not his character, it's still, he had that effect on me. So, and the whole dreams of them having the dreams, and I don't know, it's just kind of, it works.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're correct. The town itself is a character. And like any character, there is always a dark side and a light side. There's always a pro and cons list. There's always the good and the bad, whatever. And I think the town meshes that so well and encompasses the psychological portion of it with just the way things happen and just going and sitting down and having that cup of coffee, something that is so normal can be something so dangerous. So it sets that tone of you never know what's going to happen, to then add in like the owls and things like that are like, makes you wonder about it all. And the way the dreams, work, like it adds so much to everything. And you can see it from the people who born and raised there, and they're like, yeah, this is normal, to people who are not from there who go, the fuck? What's going on?
And the town is like, yeah,
me.
I've just been here. I've been here. I'm just watching.
It's like, this is what we do. It's kind of like how I explained Florida to people. Like, I'm like, yeah, I had to wait in traffic for like 20-30 minutes because a peacock was crossing the road. And they were just like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah, we got peacocks. it's a thing. Like, don't walk your dog next to the thing because there's gators. Like, it's just this is normal. Versus like literally other places, they go, peacocks live in zoos. That's it. And I'm like, no.
People keep it as pets.
Like we have full-on neighborhoods that have peacock crossings.
Wow.
Like we have the signs that say peacock crossing. Like, beware. Yeah. I'll take a picture of one and send it to you.
Well, here in Colorado, if you're late because of elks crossing in front of you, that's an excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're already starting to come out. They've already caused a traffic jam a couple days ago.
We also have gators who like to cross the road.
Oh, yeah.
I remember one time when I was in high school, we had, I think he was 16 foot. Yeah, I think he was a 16-foot gator who got clipped by a car. So he was pissed.
Oh, yeah, I'd be pissed too.
Yeah, I'd be pissed too.
Well, it was like at dawn. So it was one of those, like, they may not have seen him on the road.
Oh, poor
or
thing.
they may not have realized it was a gator. But he decided to wreak havoc and keep 3 lanes of traffic closed for about an hour and a half before animal control was finally able to get him. And even then, it was get him off to the side so they could let traffic continue, because it was like on the busiest road in the county. It connects one side of the county to the other, and the other is to go into the next county. Yeah, he was taking up quite a bit of space. It was very unhappy.
Like, I got hit. I'm gonna stay right here.
But reportedly, he didn't have any injuries, so that was good. And they rehomed him.
Yay.
They rehomed the dinosaur. Good.
They're like, you're not staying here. Well, especially since all the bodies of water near where I lived were not big enough for him.
Yeah, bet.
Like, we had a canal, but the canal, I don't know, it would not have been a good body of water for him. And then, I don't think in that area there was any like lakes that would have been big enough for him, especially being 16 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was very glad that he got rehomed. But yeah, when I explained Florida to people, it's very much like this is our Tuesday. I know it doesn't make sense to y'all, but this is normal to me. Like, people say, well, is Florida really that crazy? I'm like, what is your definition of crazy? What is your definition of not normal? Because it kind of depends. Is it like, I don't know. My dad's from northern Pennsylvania. Is it like up there? Oh, good grief, no. It's definitely crazy in comparison to where he's from. But like, I don't know. I feel like there's places that are crazier. I don't know. It's fun. I enjoy it. But I feel like Twin Peaks is that, where it's like, if you're from there, it's just Tuesday. But if you're not from there, you're saying, WTF, mate. But David, he does a really good job meshing everything, in my opinion. David has made some interesting and beloved works. Which one is your absolute favorite? And are there any that you think are overrated?
That's a hard one.
Mm-hmm. And if you don't think there's any that are overrated, that's fine.
I think one of my absolute favorites of his is The Elephant Man.
Mm-hmm.
I just like the whole atmosphere and everything to it. He did such a great job.
Yeah.
Overrated? Well, I think if he had not been, if he had been allowed to do the editing, I think Dune would have been better. But I think it's a little overrated because it was just cut to pieces.
Okay.
So
that's fair.
But it's still better than the new ones.
My brother had to beg to differ on that one. My, absolute favorite works of his is Elephant Man. That life and story of that person. It's very sad.
It is.
Depressing. And I'll have to say Twin Peaks. And I love Twin Peaks for what it is. And I'm just sad that it had to take 25 years to make season 3. And I'm like, at this point, he just didn't have to make it.
That's
and
fair.
at times Twin Peaks can be overrated a lot, but it is what it is. If anything, I don't think he is overrated. He's a good director. I don't think any work
Yeah.
surpasses anything, and I don't think there's an overrated body of work of his.
Yeah. Eraserhead is probably my favorite. And part of it's because I think that's the one I just watched the most. To be honest, when I put in this question of like, do you think there's any that are overrated? It was to kind of give that option to anybody who may not be like his hugest fan to be able to say, I personally don't think like this piece of work is worth the hype kind of deal. But honestly, I kind of agree. Like his stuff it is what it is. And there isn't like the media push for his stuff that you get for a lot of other pieces of work. I think Twin Peaks is the only one that's really had like a lot of marketing behind it versus, a lot of his other films. But he's a creator. And so he just created to create. And he learned lessons while creating. And I mean, if you watched on Max, and I think there's like a shortened version of it on YouTube, it's like the art and the life of David Lynch. He talks about the fact that like to him, his films are moving paintings, and that's how he views them, and that's how he paints them or makes them. It's like as if he's painting them. I think when you have that level of mindset when it comes to creating, it kind of makes it easy for nothing to be overrated.
Yeah.
Because it is what it is. It's art. It's just straight up art.
Mm-hmm.
I think I agree with y'all. Like with Dune, if he had creative control, it would have been so much better. And part of that is because he would have respected the original work, which the edited version obviously does not respect the original work. Or at least in my opinion, it doesn't respect the original work. I think all of his pieces, there's like a part of it that is a favorite for me. Like I like in Twin Peaks, I like how there is so much mundaneness in there. Where it's like you just want to go there and hang out. Like you want to go to the diner and get a milkshake and just chill. Like there's like a part of you who wants to be in the story. And I think that's kind of cool.
If that diner was like cookout and had 40 different flavors of milkshakes, I'd be like, yep. I'm on flavor number 20. Yep.
I mean, for like the longest time at, I think, what did they say? At like 2:00 in the afternoon, if you wanted to find David Lynch, he was at Big Boys having a milkshake and a coffee.
Yeah.
And that's why like he kind of had like the whole diner scene deal, because that's just what he would do. And so he would go and sit there and he would like doodle and write all over the napkins. One of the actresses said that she got there and one of the other actors was sitting at the table with David, and they were all just kind of sitting there hanging out, and David's doodling and the other guy has ketchup on his plate and he's doing a sketch with his knife and the ketchup on the plate. Yep. And they're just all just hanging out between rushes at Big Boy.
Is that Big Boy still around?
No.
No, I don't think so.
No.
That'd be a great place to like go to too.
No, I think it closed down. I think it was one of like the last locations to close down, actually.
Oh, sadness.
Yeah. What do we think about the life of Mr. David Lynch? Like just as a whole, like his history of like being a kid and how he grew up to dying of emphysema.
He had an interesting life. He had a long, interesting life. He started directing in the 70s. With the first film being Eraserhead, and then he kind of blew up after that. And so I'm sad that his life came to an end, but I'm also happy that we got to experience him in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Because not a lot of people could say that with different, directors. I mean, we still have John Carpenter. So I would love to say that there's a lot of directors that I'm happy to like be alive with in this day and age. And I could see him, still doing movies till the day he dies.
Mm-hmm.
And he did. He really did. But if he didn't, unfortunately, if he didn't die, he was still like made movies until he was like 100 and something.
I mean, his YouTube channel was popping.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I'm saddened that he's no longer here with us because I would love to see what other works he would have came out with, like more.
I
Like I
mean,
said,
I want a sequel to What Did Jack Do?
like I'm not a big David Lynch fan, but I do respect him as a director, and I do like some of his works. And you know what? I have to say, Lost Highway did a very good thing and introduced the American public to Rammstein.
Okay. That was
David
not a
Lynch-
connection I was gonna make,
and
but
David Lynch, he picked them out, man.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, David, come on, bring some German love. Because I am a big Rammstein fan. And, it was before, Lost Highway. And then when I, saw Lost Highway, I was like, wait a minute, David, Mr. Lynch, what? Yeah. And then you also did Nine Inch Nails in there too, like Perfect Drug.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was a beautiful song. Love that song.
Mhm.
He has some great taste in music. I have to say that. David Lynch.
he's an artist. He was an artist. He was a true lover of the arts.
So yeah, if he didn't pass away this year, I would love to see like more. I would like to watch more. I want to see more experimental stuff. Yeah, part 2, what you were talking about. It was just.
And for those who don't know, What Did Jack Do was a COVID quarantine film that he did where he interviewed a monkey. Absolutely hilarious. Go watch.
I mean, he like doing things his way. He's like making movies just to make movies. I mean, that's the type of director you want. It's like, I want to make this movie because I want to make this movie. Let me direct it. I'm gonna write it too. Like,
Oh
okay.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Lisa, what about you?
I actually watched the thing on Max. It was fantastic. I think the great thing about David Lynch is that he has fantastic taste in music. I agree with you 100%. I wouldn't be listening to some of the stuff that I listen to if it wasn't for him. And the art life thing, it's like he respected everybody even as a director. He always asked everybody their opinions. And I don't think there's an actor or an actress that he's worked with that doesn't love him. And that's saying something right there. And he lived life.
Yeah.
He lived real life, and he showed through his art and his film and everything. He showed you what he went through, even though you don't realize it's what he showed you everything. And I think that's what made him so great. And I loved when he was telling the weather and cooking Kiona, and he was just a person. And I think that's one of the best things about him. He was a creative artist that was just a person.
That
and the meditation
quinoa thing was pretty funny.
That was. And his transcendental meditation where he's trying to help people. That is fantastic. I mean, just everything. He was just everything. I just can't say anything bad about him that I didn't. Even in his book, his art book that I have, which is really interesting. It's just phenomenal. He just did whatever and shared it.
I watched a ton of YouTube videos. Like when I prep for like these things, I do actually watch quite a few interviews. I look up videos that like kind of give like a history of and all that kind of stuff. And David Lynch was not afraid to do an interview. So you got to hear him talk about all sorts of stuff, where he talked about his childhood and growing up and how he hated Virginia and he hated Philadelphia. Oh, he loathed Philly. But then you can hear how he's like, I went to LA and I looked up and it was just this beautiful, bright sunshine. And he's like, I felt like I went to heaven. And I was like, LA, heaven? Okay. I'm glad you jived there. But like he explained so much and he talked about like you could see that he valued every aspect of his life and how it contributed to who he was and where he was going and what he was doing. Like he loved the fact that his dad taught him the importance of a work ethic and enjoying being able to, basically like earn what you get. You want something, you work for it. So that way when you get it, there's meaning behind it. There's value behind it. He respected his dad who would walk to work instead of, driving or taking a train or something like that, because it was the better thing to do. And he talks about all these different things, but you can see the level of respect, and you can see that he looked at these different things on multiple levels and learned from them and then implicated what he learned. And then you can see how it grew throughout all of his art projects, from being at his paintings and sculptures and other pieces of art to music that he's made, to the films and TV shows that he's done. And like he was a true artist, and his life bled into his art, and it was one and the same. If you saw something that he made, you saw him. And I think that's something that is absolutely, absolutely beautiful. So many of the actors and actresses that he worked with, they're just like, this dude was like the jam, man. If he asked me to be in a movie for him, I would do it instantly. And like to have that level of respect and to have that love, and to know that it like he just like making stuff. That's just cool. He's just pretty cool. So let's go ahead and I guess wrap this up. So kind of like our final thoughts on David Lynch and for his career.
I mean, although he's passed away, he'll still have enough. He'll still have that range in the future, because look at Eraserhead. All right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a cult classic, and it has brought out a lot of good movies, inspired a lot of good movies. So even though Mr. Lynch passed away earlier this year, the things that he's done and the things that the things that he done will continue a long time. I mean, I don't think it'll ever stop. I think there will be more surrealist writers and directors.
Mm-hmm.
I think more writers and directors will be inspired by his works, or at least his techniques.
Mm-hmm.
So it won't come to an end. No.
Yeah.
It will always, it'll evolve, but it'll continue going. His legacy will continue on.
Mm-hmm. How many skulls would you give him? I know we don't normally give skull ratings when we talk about people, but
I would give him a 5. I mean, he's the pioneer of, his surrealist experimental horror. So,
mm-hmm. No fun.
Come on. Without him, there will be no Twin Peaks. And I love me some Twin Peaks.
There you go. Lisa, how about you?
Oh, he'll definitely be an influence on forever. His whole life was just art. He definitely influences modern horror. He will continue to influence people. And then all the new people who see Eraserhead or Twin Peaks and everything, they'll be inspired. There's just something about him that inspires everybody. Mm-hmm. Musicians, actors, regular people. I mean, look at Eggers. Mm-hmm. You can see it in his work. So I would rate him a 5. And not just because of his grade. I'm also biased because I've always been a David Lynch fan since I started watching his films back in the 80s. I can't help it. He opened my mind to so many things. And the deceased David Bowie was in an episode of Twin Peaks too. And I think Bowie was also inspired by Lynch as well. So, that's just...
That was artist knowing artist.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's I give him 5 skulls.
Okay. Much like the Renaissance, where you had these amazing individuals who thrived on the arts, like Da Vinci and all that. You have David Lynch is of that variety. He is about the art and like the making of it, not just like the final product, not just what money he can make from it. He is about the process of making the art and what it means to the artist who creates it, and how it changes not just their soul, but the soul of every individual who comes across it. And I think individuals like that, there are few in their generations that are like that. And he was an artist who truly understood it. And I think other artists like David Bowie can resonate with that, where they can say, I feel you, I see you. Like you're an artist of the artists. You're not just hey, I got a little bit of talent, check me out. It's he lived and breathed art. And I think that kind of influence is timeless. And I think that kind of influence will continue, even on like a cultish level. Like Eraserhead will never be mainstream. That's okay. It doesn't need to be.
No.
But it's made for the people who truly love film and the people who truly want to see an art film, an experience, and have an experience when they watch. I think his movies are not just made for, or even TV shows are not made for just the average viewer. They are made for the cinephiles. They are made for the people who truly want to get immersed into these things. And it's not to say that just a common watch can't be enjoyed, but it's not who it was made for. I think more people need to experience him, if anything, just for the experience. Like Elephant Man should be a film that I think even high schoolers should get to see, and have that be something that is shown early on, and for you to have that kind of education on top of experience of the process of the story, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. I would give David a 5. Our lovely little ghouls, fellow horrorholics, it's time for the end, which means you guys got to tell us what David Lynch film or show is your all-time favorite. Do you think, actually, are there any that you think are overrated? And what do you love most about the late, great David Lynch? Come tell us in our social media. We're going to be on all the things. We have an Instagram. We have a TikTok. We have an X. We have a Threads. We have a Blue Sky. We got Facebook. Our Facebook group be hopping and bopping. Honestly, I think David Lynch would have a fun time in our Facebook group. I'm just saying. I think he would. It's my opinion. But you can also find us and like and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, such as Apple, Google, Spotify, and of course, the tube of you. Come check us out there as well. We even respond to the comment section. So leave a comment. We want to hear from you. But ladies, where can they find you?
You can find me on Facebook, and you can find me on Instagram, Threads, and
there we go. Karen, where can they find you?
Facebook, Instagram, Threads, X, formerly known as Twitter, TikTok, and Reddit.
Groovy. I am Shannon. You can find me on all the things at Spill Tea Wine Media Mind. But before we go, like always, thank you so very much. We cannot express our appreciation for each of our favorite little ghouls. You guys mean a lot to us. Your support is amazing. So stay spooky, horrorholics.
And this has been the Spooky and Kooky podcast of Earth Station Boo.
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.